Come on.
Who's Andrew? Hi, Andrew. I'm a
Everybody.
virgin, never got close enough.
Hello back. Nice to meet you.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Just living the dream, man. How's your night going?
It's nice. Uh,
So good right now.
your voice is amazing.
Is it?
Yep.
I get
Just
that a
want you to know
lot.
that.
I get that a lot. One day
Yeah.
it is my dream to have like a channel somewhere where people listen to the silk soothing sound of my voice. But anyway, appreciate the compliment. I would like to
You sound
engage on the prompt if you don't mind.
No problem. No problem.
So, when you say heterosexual indoctrination, what does that mean?
So, um, I'm assuming you're heterosexual.
You're assuming correctly, yes.
No problem. So, when we,
Hang on, am I to assume you're a homosexual?
well, I'm bisexual, but I mean, you can say homosexual. That's fine.
Okay.
But I'm speaking to you from the bisexual portion. I'm sorry, the heterosexual portion of the bisexual part.
Okay.
So when uh
Well, you getting a lot of people now.
yeah, I support this. So when we talk about heterosexual indoctrination harms children, basically, as men, speaking from a male point of view, growing up or even now when a boy child starts to cry about something, heterosexual men tend to stop crying so much at least, or crying is for whatever is considered weak to heterosexual men. And that is a form of indoctrination that we should not be doing um, to our young boys.
No, aren't you just talking
Um,
about masculinity versus femininity here?
Not really, no.
Well, they're not telling them to stop crying because they're heterosexuals. They're telling them to stop crying because it's not a masculine trait.
whether it's whether it's a masculine trait or not, telling someone, a human being,
Yeah,
humans experience emotions.
I
When
agree.
you tell a young boy, a child, to not express himself,
Hmm.
that is harmful in the long run
Well, I
because
think
he's going to grow up
well, I would
in that
disagree.
damaged kind of
I guess I would give you.
perfections.
Here's my counter argument. I would argue that men are significantly stronger than women are. And because of that, they can hurt each other and women and children much, much worse than the opposite sex can. And there's a necessity there that they be able to control their emotional outbursts. And part of the idea of not crying and making public scenes and public emotional outbursts is a form of teaching men how to control their emotions for the good of society.
That is a very perverted way of looking at how to look at society.
Why? Why is that
At the end of the
perverse?
day, because men are not more in control of their emotions than women
They most certainly are.
are. Okay, let's
Yeah. So
let me give
here,
you
hang on. I can
an
prove. I can
example.
demonstrate it really easy, right? There. So for women, women have trouble controlling hormones in their body. They have a cycle which revolves around expelling, um, eggs from their body essentially, and this creates hormones fluctuations that men don't have to deal with. And
Really?
it is true. Yes. Am I wrong?
I wasn't agreeing with you. I was
Yeah.
actually really because you sound stupid right now.
Why? What am I saying that's incorrect?
Because men also have hormones
They don't
and a
have the
hormone
same try.
imbalance.
They don't have the same type of trouble with emotional
It doesn't.
regulation. But here's the
Yes,
thing:
they do.
they
That is
Yes,
don't.
men
not.
do.
Then give me
Yes,
a
men do.
demonstration of it. Give me the
I'll
proof.
give you a very huge,
Okay.
a massive demonstration.
Hmm.
All wars on on this planet have been started by men. Look at our country now, dominated by men, right wing men, the most sensitive men of all, by the way,
Well,
who are actually right now, because they're throwing a temper tantrum, taking over this government and ruining this country. The
You
most
can.
sensitive man
Yeah.
the most sensitive man has been put into office as the president of this country.
You can find
And
the
you
study.
guys
Hang
sat
on.
there. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Hold
I'm
one
sorry.
second,
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut
because
you off.
that study means nothing compared to what I'm telling you right now. But we have Donald Trump right now, who throws a temper tantrum over the stupidest things, and you're saying that there are women who are less sensitive than the entire Republican Party crying because they perceive society as attacking white men? Come on. We have an entire portion of this country led by heterosexual men crying because Christianity is not the dominance or the dominant nature or the dominant element that it used to be in this country.
Okay, so just to respond,
leading that charge.
Well, just to respond very quickly, aren't you making my point for me? Because all you're doing is saying that men crying is bad, and not only that, I'm going to point out the study. Hang on. Let me finish. I'm almost done. I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to. Of course not.
Statement that I have to clarify because I'm not.
But that's what you just said is that the Republicans are crying.
I'm not about to let you go on in life perpetuating that lie.
Okay, go ahead.
I just gave you prime examples of emotional men.
But it sounds like you think men need to check their emotions.
This happens when you stop young boys from being able to express themselves. If you stop talking for just a moment, you'll understand. This is why you don't understand it, because you can't not listen. You're not listening right now.
Well, you cut me off in mid-sentence.
You're only listening to respond.
No, I'm actually just trying to give you.
I need you to mute yourself. Okay. Please mute yourself.
Go ahead, man. Let me know when I can speak.
I'll unmute you when you can speak. How's that? There's a lesson for you. Because we stop young boys and little boys from feeling their emotions or expressing themselves, they grow up to be just like you, who don't know how to express themselves, so you express yourself in the most radical of ways. For example, right-wing men, the prime examples of we need to teach them how to chop wood and not to cry and all of that are the most unhinged individuals we can find in this country. But you are going around telling women that they can't control their emotions. Donald Trump in his first term was this close from starting a nuclear war. What woman has said, oh, I'm going to press the button as soon as I get in there? Oh, I have bigger missiles than the next person. That is emotionally unhinged, because we are not allowing boys to be able to express themselves. That's why. Now you can unmute yourself.
Okay.
Actually, I said I was going to unmute you.
I have a very quick two-part response. So the first is you're still just making the argument that indeed men need to regulate their emotions, which was exactly mine. But also, let me just point out, the study I was going to give you wasn't a study about emotional regulation. It was refuting that. I'm not allowed to speak again?
No, I muted you because you purposely misconstrued what I said.
Well,
so I'm going to
can I at least get a response in?
No.
You don't sound like you have much emotional control.
Once you stop perverting
Not much emotional control from you.
Once you stop perverting what I said, then you can speak.
Oh, okay.
The reason
so I have to agree with you, or I'm not allowed to talk.
I don't have any respect for your kind.
Yeah, so I have to. So I have to agree.
Deserve it. Once again, I'm going to reiterate what I said because you didn't learn your lesson.
Okay, you go ahead. You sound like you're in emotional control.
Going onto other people's live and being able to say a bunch of random. But you're going to learn a very valuable lesson today.
And that's how in control of your emotions you are.
What your dad should have told you.
Very emotional.
What you lack.
Okay.
So I'm emotional because I'm human. I'm expressing my emotions. So shut the.
Yeah, I don't know. You just sound unhinged to me.
Now I'm about to put you back on mute again. All right. So what I said was, we have emotional, unstable people in this country who were not allowed to express themselves emotionally. Yet you got your ass up here and said it's the women who can't control themselves. Yet Donald Trump and Republicans who are emotionally unstable get out there starting wars, destroying this country, not even nearly, I'm sorry, they did put the military into action inside of our borders, which is not supposed to happen. And you're telling me that it's women who are emotionally unstable? If you allow young men and little boys to express themselves emotionally, this would not be a thing. Women are much more in control of their emotions. Having emotions is not a bad thing. It is human. So once you understand that, then you will be a much better person. But you're not a better person. You're not a good person. You're a person. Now, any studies and statistics that you come up with will always be a right-wing bias towards it. And I don't give a fuck about it. But you're not going to come up here and tell the women on this panel that they are much more emotionally unstable than you. Each one of these women have been on this panel and said and heard exactly what the fuck you said. Yet you couldn't shut the fuck up and let me finish what I was saying at all because you are too emotionally unstable to actually understand what I'm saying. Yet you expect them to go off the hinges. I'm going off
Just
the hinges
sending the
because I
cash.
can express my emotions.
Send in the cash and watch him lose his.
Talking about. Now, once again, you can unmute yourself and say what the fuck you need to say as in regards to what the fuck I just said to you about emotionally unstable men.
Do you think that I'm the one who sounds like I'm having trouble regulating my emotions, or
if
you?
You aren't going to respond to what I say.
Yeah, I'll respond. Here's the response. The response is that you're still making the argument that it's very important that men regulate their emotions because you're having issues with men who you feel aren't regulating them correctly. My counter argument to you is simple. It's two-part. The first is that part of male emotional regulation starts when men are children, and this is part of the idea of the masculine virtues. The study I was going to cite it talks about how women actually start more wars than men. That was your key in, was that it was actually men who start all the wars. However, between 1480 and 1913, queens were more likely to participate and start wars compared to kings, overwhelmingly. We have all of that data. I can give you the study. The study is done, it's called Queens on Attack. You can find this. It's by, it looks like Audriella Dube and S.P. Harrish. You can find this study. I can actually link it to you, I think. So all of your arguments don't hold much sway, and all you're kind of doing is going on these emotional diatribes. Would you like to engage in logical debate with me or not?
You said I said something about regulating men's emotions.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
When did I say no? No, it's not.
Then
why would you? No.
Okay.
No. When did I say that? When did I say that?
Yeah, so this is the entailment of your position that Republican.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Am I allowed to explain or not?
You're telling me that what I said, and I'm telling you that's not.
Well,
what
I'm going to give you my perception.
Because
that's all I can do.
Everything that I said was allowing what young men or young children, young boys, to express themselves, not regulate. I never said that.
Well, the forms of expression.
Regulate how young boys emotionally express is a problem. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
you keep gearing it back to regulate.
Yeah, because forms of expression are regulation. That's the point. So you're saying,
no, it's not.
Yeah, they are. I'll explain. So if it's the case that you're saying that young boys need to be able to cry in public more, then you're trying to deregulate how socially men teach young boys how to regulate their emotions. That's what you're talking about.
Cry in public more.
Yeah, or just cry more even.
Cry. That's the emotion that he's stuck on. He's okay.
Well, that's the example that you brought up.
Oh goodness. It's one example that I brought up.
It's the only example you brought up.
I said express emotions how many times? Much more than I said cry. But anyway.
Yeah, but that was the example that you used for expressing emotion.
Once again.
Mm-hmm.
I never said regulate. I never said, it just exclusively cry or young boys should be able to cry in public. No.
Why not?
The fact that we stop them
Why shouldn't
from
they?
expressing themselves.
Why shouldn't they be able to cry in public? Are you trying to regulate their emotions or something?
Okay, because I see I can treat you like a fucking child. So I never said anything about where they should express their emotions. I never said any of that. You keep going off of what you're assuming. Thus, you're not listening to anything that I'm saying. Thus, you have a learning disability.
I'm listening to everything you're saying.
No. I didn't say come off mute. This is not a dictator. Democracy. This is a dictatorship.
Spit it out, Junior.
You know what? You're a and I don't have time for this.
Yeah, you do. You have nothing but time.
Shut the up.
Yeah, you do. You have nothing but time.
Shut the up.